Hey Eurovision fans, it's Tom coming to you from Dublin. I'm back for another Eurovision reaction video. Today I'm going to be giving you my top 37 of Eurovision 2023. I'm going to go through every single entry and rank them and give you my top 10. So let's kiki. So I will leave timestamps in the progress bar, but I will just write 30th, 25th, 20th so that there's no spoilers on who my top 10 is. So this is actually my 500th video on my channel. So what better way to celebrate than by doing my top 37 ranking. This video last year, which was my top 40 video, was my most thumbed down video ever. Not just last year, but ever in the history of my channel. I had 236 thumbs down. Something I said pissed it off. I don't know, I talked about 40 songs, so it's hard to know which moment pissed people off the most. But yes, please do give this video a thumbs up because these ranking videos get thumbed down a lot. So obviously this is going to be my top 37 at this point in time. Because many of the countries haven't done performances yet, I'm focusing this ranking mostly on the studio versions of the song. So around 80% based off of the song, the studio track, and around 20% off of any visuals or performance that I've seen. I'm going to do another ranking again later on in the competition. That's going to be more just everything. These rankings will definitely change. Just some cute trivia. Last year, my 34th place, my 19th place, and my 17th place were all in my final top 10. This is what I love about Eurovision. Every year there are these ones that really grow and surprise you. Now, majority of songs I do like this year. That's not too surprising. I don't think someone who only likes 2 or 3 songs a year is going to start a YouTube channel about Eurovision. But yeah, it's going to start off negative and then it's going to get much more positive. If you don't like the negative bits, just skip to later in the video. So I have 37 magnets in front of me, but only one magnet can be Europe's next top magnet. So in 37th place, we have a country that's qualified 2 of the last 3 years. I don't think they're qualifying this year though. That is San Marino. So yeah, look, this song is just very repetitive for me. I think that San Marino had an amazing opportunity this year. Their national final was so late and it had such a variety of songs in it. They really could have looked at the semi-final and said, okay, what's going to stand out? Instead, they chose a rock song, which is, in my opinion, the worst of the 3 rock songs in semi-final number 2. It's very repetitive, the lyrics are a little bit weird and kind of stalkery. They're very nice guys, I've seen that they're really lovely. This is getting a revamp. Apparently it's coming out on April 5th, which of course I will react to. But at this point in time, I have like absolutely zero interest in the song, like at all. But who knows, that could be changed. I don't know if it's going to make it into my top 10, but stranger things have happened. In 36th place, we have the country who I want to win Eurovision the most. They haven't won before, I want them to win. I'm always rooting for them, but this year, I'm not feeling Iceland at all. Diljá with Power. Absolutely love her, love Iceland. They are the most Eurovision-y country in Eurovision. Their viewership rates for Eurovision are like 99% of the country. They absolutely love it. I think she's awesome. She's like a super strong, powerful CrossFit chick. But yeah, the song is just, for me, it sounds like a really mediocre 90s drum and bass song that was like 25th in the charts in the UK. I love her energy and her singing and everything like that, but yeah, the song, I just don't enjoy it whatsoever. I'm hoping that Iceland brings some super amazing staging so that this becomes a staging qualifier for me, because as a song it's definitely not one of my qualifiers, but I'm always rooting for Iceland, so I would love them to elevate this staging wise. They have qualified the last 3 years in a row. I hope that they can keep that streak alive. In 35th place, we have an entry that makes me sad on many levels, and that is Ireland, Wild Youth with We Are One. The guys have been getting a rough time recently. I'm not going to hate on them. Everything about this just makes me feel a little bit sad. I think the main thing for me is that this doesn't feel like a song that represents them and their normal style of music. I felt like they compromised that to write a Eurovision song because they thought that is what you needed to do for Eurovision, which is one of the main things that we just need to get rid of Ireland. That's a valid strategy. Just write good music and you're going to do well. So I feel sad that they're not even representing themselves with something that's theirs. So they're not a winner in that aspect. I feel like Ireland's not a winner because I don't think we're going to qualify this year. All the other countries with non-qualification streaks, Latvia, Croatia, Georgia, Austria, I think all 4 of those realistically could qualify, which will mean that we will have the longest non-qualification streak in the competition. We've qualified once in the last 8 years. That's the worst out of anyone competing this year. Only North Macedonia has the same record, but they withdrew. So yeah, look, things are looking absolutely dire for us. So as a country, we're not winning either. There were better songs in the national final, Colony, Agi, the rap song as well, I thought was very interesting. So those people aren't winning because they have better songs, but their performances weren't as good. It's just hard to pull positives from this right now. So I've already covered this quite a lot, so I don't want to go anymore, but the whole thing just makes me sad. Let's go to my 34th ranked country, and this is actually in my all-time Eurovision rankings. This is my number 3 country, so they've moved down a lot from where I normally have them, and that is Azerbaijan.
And I just wanna know, how do you feel?
Turan Turel X singing, I'm not sure what their song is called. Tell me more. So I like that this song has a different feel. It's kind of cool, chill, slight Britpop vibe. It reminds me a lot of Sixpence None the Richer, Kiss Me. But yeah, it's just not particularly exciting or impactful. I have to admit, I do quite like Azerbaijan's formulaic ethnic pop entries. I find them very enjoyable. Obviously, they're number 3 in my all-time rankings. So yeah, a little bit disappointed with this. Although I am kind of excited for the future. Azerbaijan's previous strategy for Eurovision pre-2014 doesn't work anymore because of various changes that have happened in the competition, if you know what I mean. So they do need to come up with something new and different if they want to potentially win again. So I appreciate that they're trying to look for artists who are writing their own songs, etc., trying a new strategy, not just doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I definitely appreciate that. This could grow my rankings if the staging really highlights the strengths of the songs. But at this point in time, I just forget about it. I just think there's a lot more memorable entries this year. Well, number 33. If it isn't Blanca.
Baby, it's kinda crazy. How else?
Now, no hate on Blanca. I'm just joking. She hasn't done anything wrong. TVP are the ones who did the wrong thing here. If you want my honest opinion about this, go back and watch my Poland national final video. I ranked this 4th, but that was before Alicia's song was released, so I would have ranked it 5th. And since then, I quite like Alina's Booty. So this is my 6th favorite song from the national final. I think that sums it up pretty clearly. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. It's kind of boppy. It's kind of catchy. It's like low energy dance routine. I just think that they have way more better options. Literally, I think there were 5 better options in their national final. I was warned by the Polish people on this channel before that there was going to be rigging in the national final and Jan wasn't going to win. I thought they were going to rig it for Alicia. I really did not understand the dynamics behind the scenes in TVP, so I totally misread the situation. So for me, it was totally surprising when Blanca started doing really well. I was like, wow, this is so random, because for me the song is so basic. It's not special at all. So then for suddenly then to be like, yeah, this is the best song. I was like, whoa, okay, this is what riggery looks like. My genuine surprise, I actually started laughing when she got the 12 from the jury because it was so absurd. I no hate on her. She's a young artist. She should take opportunities that are given to her. But yeah, I don't want this to qualify because of TVP's rigging. I don't think this can qualify without the Polish diaspora, so I think it's really going to come down to them. How active are they going to get behind this? I think it's better for Poland if they don't qualify. I think in the long term for their results, they need to not qualify if they want to make progress. At this point, I need to point out that I purposefully save some songs for later in the season. 90% of the music I listen to is Eurovision music, so I don't want to listen to it all in February and then I have nothing else to listen to for the rest of the year. So I do purposefully save some of the songs. This is one of the songs I've saved. It's Greece. So I don't dislike this. I think it's fine, but there are certain songs I listen to, I'm like, okay, that's fine, it's cool, it's not super wow. I don't have to download it immediately. I might enjoy it later, and I kind of wait until Eurovision happens to give them a second go. This is one of these. I think I might enjoy this in the future when I give it a bit more time and attention. But at this point in time, it was one of the reactions I did that just didn't have as much impact as I was expecting. I do go into Greek songs with quite high expectations, so it could partially be that as well. I'm kind of excited for this though. He's a very young artist. He seems quite confident in the music video. He might surprise us by doing something really different, unusual, or new. So it does have that capacity to be kind of a bit of a surprise one for me. But at this point in time, I haven't downloaded it. I don't feel an urge to download it now. I'm gonna wait until I see what the stage show is and see how this grows in my mind in Liverpool. Ooh, it fit. Yay, it fit. Don't worry, I pre-planned this last night, so they all will fit. As long as I haven't forgotten anyone. And number 31 is a country that went back to its national final this year, and that is Gustav singing Because of You.
Crazy, I carry on, and it's all
So nothing against him, I love him. I think actually if it wasn't for him and how charming and endearing he was, this would probably be lower. My problem with the song is just it sounds like something I heard in the late 90s noughties 400 or 500 times before. So when I listen to it, it has that feeling like, you know, when you've downloaded a song and you're listening to it the 100th, the 110th time, it just doesn't have that same impact. Feels like a little bit more of a slog to listen to it. It just feels a tiny bit stale to me, but really like him. I love the interaction with him and his two ladies. Great harmonies. He's got some big notes at the end. I'm obviously very pro his LGBT plus message. Yeah, I really hope this does well, but I don't think I'm going to come around on this song. Speaking of another national final winner, whose performer I really love, but the song I'm not feeling as much, that is Digite by Theodore Andre. So when I did my Romania reaction, this was my number 2 song, I believe, largely down to him and his performance style. Even thought in his music video, he had a lot of charisma, he was very likable, it had a cool kind of different, slightly Brit sounding vibe to the song. I don't particularly enjoy the melody of it. I really enjoyed his performance in Selection Nationale. I thought he was the best by far. I thought everyone else like kind of massively flopped. My favorite song from that national final was Statues, and that performance was an absolute disaster. So he seems to be getting a lot of hate, but I don't know what people's alternative was. Like, everyone else flopped, so he was the only one who was able to step up to the plate and actually perform. I'm actually really looking forward to what he delivers in Liverpool. Hopefully they can edit it down. He's really young, he's 18, but he's still a great performer. He's got theatric training. He's really ambitious. He's training 7-8 hours a day. I'm massively rooting for him. I think he's a lovely guy. But yeah, the song itself, I'm not there. Romania usually do a little bit of a revamp, so I think that I might enjoy the newer version if he adds in a couple of new elements for me. I'm also kind of sitting on this one a little bit as well, saving it for later, as I am with Greece. I'm worried this is going to fall down at some point. Okay, we got another boy, and that is Marco Mengoni, singing Due Vite. Is the flag the right way? Yes, it is. It's backwards on my camera. I don't have any issue with this song. It's just doesn't have a lot of impact on my mind. I find it a tiny bit uninteresting. In my Sanremo rankings, this was my number 9, I think. I just think there were a lot more fun, interesting songs. I get that San Marino is not a national final. That is actually my biggest problem with San Marino. I think it's a very interesting cultural experience, but they're picking the winner of San Remo. They're not picking a representative for Eurovision, and it just feels a little bit weird because I feel like there's certain criteria you have to meet to be the winner of San Remo, kind of like unwritten, unspoken criteria. Marco mentioned that a little bit on the stage himself, you know, when there were 5 boys in the final and no girls, despite there being some amazing female songs this year. I don't know, this just feels a little bit dull to me. On top of it, he already competed before in 2013 with L'Essenziale. I think this is really similar. I think he himself probably would have liked to have come back with something that showed off a different dimension to him, because this makes him look a little bit one-dimensional because it's so similar to what he had before. I know someone's going to come out now and say that these are like the most opposite songs in the world, but I don't think they are. And I'm not an Italian Sanremo super fan. There's an elegance to it. I think it's fine. I think this will do very well with the juries. Italy have been doing very well with the televote lately. I don't think this is going to do badly. There is a revamp coming out. He's going to shorten it down. Maybe he'll liven it up a little bit. So this definitely could climb for me. Okay, let's go to 28th place. This is a country that has one of the best semi-final running orders out of anyone in the competition this year, and that is Albania. Albina and family Kilmendi. So I think that this was a good revamp. Adding in the Turkish instrumentation was very interesting. This is a song that I'm kind of waiting until Eurovision to start listening to, because I'm waiting for the visuals to be cleaned up. I think Sasha Jean-Baptiste is going to do a good job about that. I think if there's one thing that she's really good at, it's like editing down into really beautiful, simple performances. So I think that she'll take the core elements of the theme of this, which is family and missing, living with your family like you did when you were a child. I think she'll condense that down and make it into something that's comprehensible. I'm saving it for later, essentially. But I really like the opening 30 seconds to this, where she does the beckoning wailing call. I think that's really pretty. And the instrumentation is very nice. It's got a real beautiful ethnic sound to it. Definitely think this can be one of my growers. Okay, 27th place, and you may be a tiny bit surprised by this because I had a really positive reaction to the visuals for the music video. But my 27th place is Pasha Parfani from Moldova. And the reason I'm putting this so low is I love the music video. I think it's gorgeous. The shamanic Game of Thrones, Neanderthal, caveman, fantasy, really editorial looking. Pan on the flute, these two women with the antlers, lots of really great fun things to latch onto. But my issue is I just don't massively enjoy this song. The melody of it just doesn't particularly interest me. Really enjoy watching the performance. I think Pasha's a great performer as well. He's totally immersive. I do think this was the best song in the national final, so I think they made the right choice. But yeah, just song-wise, I'm not really into it yet. Moldova are a country that pretty much every single year they will go up in my rankings when it comes to actual Eurovision. The only exception to that was Sugar, which was really, really high in my rankings and then came down a little bit because I felt their performance wasn't as good as the music video. I think this one will go up because I think they'll make it even more expensive on the Eurovision stage. So I'm looking forward to seeing this, but it's currently my number 27. Now to one of our earlier songs. I asked the people who stand this song to come and make themselves known in the comments, and plenty of them showed up. There are fans for this. It is Alika with Bridges. She's my number 26. Yeah, this one's weird for me. I think it's a really lovely song, very elegant, pretty classic ballad. Definitely is adding some to the competition because we've got much less ballads this year, so I think that she's going to stand out. My issue, I think there's a small element of bitterness. I definitely preferred Venom from Ali and Why Do You Love Me from Andreas. So this was my third or fourth favorite song. Yeah, I'm just not listening to it yet. I suppose maybe I'm saving it for later as well. But it's just one of the ones, if you asked me to list all 37 entrants this year, this would be in the last 5 ones I named. It just seems to not be fresh in my memory. I don't tend to think about it as much. I think it's going to do amazing with juries if she makes the final. She can definitely do a bit of damage in the juries. And I'm looking forward to seeing the performance, but I'm just not thinking about it as much as the other ones. So that is why I'm putting her 26th. Damn, this is kind of tiring. So in 25th place, I got another lady, and that is Mimicat from Portugal. Really love this. I love how unique and special and individual it is. It feels very Portuguese. For me, the Portugueseness of this is how unique and unapologetic it is. Portugal will send something really authentic to them, whatever they happen to love this year. There's no formula with the Portuguese entries at all. I really, really love it. I'm not totally there with the song yet, but I really enjoy the performance, the color story, her theatrics, her performance style, the big note at the end. Lots of stuff to really enjoy here. I feel like Portugal is kind of like the opposite of Sweden. Like Sweden, we know what we're getting every single year. It's going to be great pop. That's it. And we'll never get anything different for the rest of our lives. Portugal, I feel like every year we get something very different. This is so different from last year and the year before and the year before that, and then Conan Osiris. I love how unexpected Portugal are. So I'm really enjoying this from Portugal. I hope it goes up my rankings. Saturday last year was my number 19 and it ended up 8, I think. So that was one of the other jumpers from last year. Let's go to one of my biggest climbers this year in 24th place, and that is Southern Lights singing Aya. So this was previously in my bottom 5, so this has already climbed a lot. I had a lot of trouble with the opening 30 seconds, that kind of very off-sounding abstract noise. I didn't really enjoy it, but I'm kind of over that now, and I really like particularly the end of the song. The last 30-40 seconds is so pretty. I think if they can really highlight that last 30 seconds in Liverpool, this definitely has a chance to qualify if they're super clever and strategic, which is something I don't feel like Latvia has been in the past. They've got that 5 non-qualification streak. I really want them to break it. But yeah, this is currently my number 24, but it's on an upward trajectory. So I'm curious to see how high it can go. I would love for this to be a song that was in my bottom 5 and then make it up into my top rankings. That would be kind of cool, but yeah, I'm not going to fake that. It has to happen on its own. So yeah, that's Southern Lights. Let's go to another song that's currently going up in my rankings, and that is Let 3 with Mama. I'm getting better at saying sh, but still a little bit awkward. This is quite divisive, and a lot of people really don't like this. I think when I first saw it, I was probably in that group, but in my reaction video to this, a lot of Christians left me messages being really supportive, saying how much they like this, going through explaining all the metaphors to me and how this is a band that's been around 20-30 years, and just giving a lot of that context to me. And when I knew that information, I was like, wow, okay, this does have meaning, this has depth, this is not a joke entry. And then when I did my music video reaction, I realized that the chorus was a lot more dynamic and interesting than I thought it was. I was a bit too focused on the verses, which can seem a little bit flat. Visually, I think it's really exciting and fun. Some people don't like this because they're like, oh, this is why people make fun of Eurovision. I'm not trying to please casual fans. If they don't like Eurovision, that's their problem, not mine. It's not up to us to water down our competition for them because they're so judgy. So yeah, look, I think this is a legit entry. Croatians are so behind this. Do not underestimate how passionately, not all, but a lot of Croatians really like this entry and like what they're sending this year, and that it's got such a deep message and it's making fun of Putin in a clever kind of way. I think this is definitely going to qualify. Okay, my number 22, let's go to a country that used to be my least favorite country in Eurovision, but around 3-4 years ago, they really turned themselves around and I'm enjoying them more, and that is Malta. It's the busker. So yeah, I was very critical of the national final this year. I thought it was way too big. I hope they shorten it down next year. But it was worth it because the end result was that they got the busker who, with this really fun, charming performance, really lovely song, very entertaining and personable, performed by a Maltese person, written by a Maltese person. So this is Malta trying to come with a new strategy for Eurovision. Instead of just getting these amazing singers and then getting them to sing songs written by other Europeans, they're starting to come up with a more long-term strategy that will hopefully get them their first win eventually. I really like this performance, but I'm not totally there with the song yet. I haven't downloaded it yet. I imagine I will later on this season. I'm really rooting for them, but they got a terrible draw in the second slot of semi-final number 1, so I think it would be a bit of a miracle if they make it through, but I'll be really happy for them if they do. For me, this feels like Malta starting to build their own identity in Eurovision. So let's go to number 21. There's a country that's been under the radar recently at Eurovision. It is Riley, representing Denmark.
If we go back to the start, you'll still be breaking my heart.
I think this song's really well produced. I quite like him. There's some people who seem to have like a massive problem with him because he lied about his age. I don't know, it doesn't really bother me that much. Yeah, I think it's a very mid song. I think it being in the middle of my rankings is appropriate. I neither love it nor hate it. I think it's fine. I don't mind it when it comes on. I'm looking forward to his performance. Apparently Denmark are going to bring something big, which is nice to see. I want Denmark to be more ambitious. Last year their staging was the laziest staging you could possibly have. They literally changed nothing from Dansk Melodi Grand Prix and just kept a bunch of screensaver backgrounds. So yeah, looking forward to what they can bring. At this point though, it's in the middle of my rankings. Let's go to a country that lost their 5 qualification streak last year, and that is Israel with Noah Carell. So you might be a little bit surprised I have this so low because this is one of the favorites to win. I think it's currently 6th in the odds. For me personally, this is a performance song. So this song is going to come to life when we have the visuals and the stage show. It feels like the song has specifically been written for a Eurovision show. It's still listenable, but its priority when it was constructed was, how is this going to look on the stage? I'm totally okay with that. That's not a problem for me whatsoever. But it does affect my enjoyment when I listen to it. It feels a little bit like a Frankenstein, 4 or 5 songs melted together. I think that's going to look amazing on the stage because they'll have lots of different things happening. I think it's going to be very exciting. I don't need everybody to come with a radio edit of a song that I love. I'm okay with some songs coming with very entertaining performances, like Croatia and Malta, just as entertaining for me in the final. This will almost definitely go up when I see the final performance. Let's go to a country which hopefully I think are turning a corner and are finally going to start getting some good results. That is Germany. So we know that Germany is the country that struggled the most in the big 5. This for me is hopefully a sign they're turning things around. This feels super German, really fun, colorful, vibrant. The band are amazing. They're very experienced, really good performers. I love the lead singer's voice. They've got a great message behind them. Very nice guys. But I just love the feeling this gives me of progress and Germany improving. I think the days of Germany getting 0 points of the televote will hopefully be gone. This gives me so many good feelings, but yeah, music wise, it's not normally what I listen to, but I think it has the potential to grow for me. This could potentially make it into my top 10 if I fall in love with the song. Now we're coming to my second highest song I haven't downloaded, and that is Australia, Voyager. Now I am purposefully saving this. I'm like quite consciously saving this as one of my songs I'm going to listen to later. I really enjoyed it when I did my reaction. I know I'm going to like the song, but I want to save something for later in the season. They're Eurovision super fans. They're so lovely. They're really positive on Twitter and they follow a lot of people in the Eurovision community and they're very interactive. I really like that they're internally selected after what happened last year where they won the televote, that they probably submitted another really good song this year and they said, look, we'll just give it to you. I know there were some problems organizing the national final this year as well. I just think they're really lovely representatives. I really hope Australia comes back next year. I'm definitely looking forward to this performance. They're closing semi-final number 2. That's going to be really exciting. Okay, number 17. Now, this country is my second highest ranked country in my rankings. This is the lowest ranked song in my downloads this year, and that is Loreen. don't freak out. I do like the song. As I said, I have downloaded it. But if we look objectively, of these 17 remaining songs, there's only one I haven't downloaded, which I'll explain why later. This is my least played of those songs. For me, that just shows I just don't enjoy this song as much as I do the other ones. Performance-wise, I think this is spectacular. If I was rating this 100% on the performer and the visuals, this would definitely be in my top 10. But at this point in time where I'm ranking mostly based off of the studio version, I just don't really enjoy the song. It sounds a little bit dated to me. I think this is worse than Euphoria. I also think it's worse than Statements. Statements is probably my favorite Eurovision entry of hers. My favorite song ever of hers is I'm in It With You, which I've listened to around 500 times. So like this doesn't even compare to those two at all. I still think that there's a little bit of overhype from the community in how good the song is. I really don't think this song is as good as Euphoria was. Plus, in my personal opinion, the competition is much stronger now than it was in 2012. We have a lot of countries now which weren't competitive in 2012. Czechia, Switzerland, Netherlands, Cyprus, Finland, all these countries weren't really competitive back then and really upped their games. There's more stronger countries nowadays, so I think that she's got stiffer competition this year. I have no problem if she wins. If the general public say, yeah, we think this is an absolute masterpiece of a song, yeah, great. Fine, I think she's a very deserving winner. I think she's an incredible performer. Love that she's representing people in a different age demographic. It just doesn't wow me in the same way that it does for other people. Let's go to a country that changed up their selection format this year. They come up with something new, trying to reinvent themselves. That is Joker Out from Slovenia. So they previously used to do a national final, now they've gone to internal selection. I think this is a great idea. They've chosen a really quality professional band. You've got a really great performance style. I love the visuals. They were kind of like Riviera fun, running around this hotel. The sound of the song is very good. I don't think it has like a big impact moment. It's a very smooth, steady song with a cool vibe in it. I think that impact is probably what's stopping this going higher for me. This was in my top 10 for a while, but just as a lot of the later songs came in, it just started to creep down a little bit. Possibly also just due from this being released quite early. But I really like this from Slovenia. It feels very professional, well thought out. It's a good song. They've never been top 6. They've come 7th twice. I would love if this could do that. I do think they're going to have to bring pretty wow staging to achieve that. But yeah, this song gives me a real positive feeling. I love Slovenia making progress and kind of grabbing attention. I would love Slovenia to win the competition in the next 5 years. That would be awesome. So if they start getting into this internal selection thing, that could be them working towards this. Oh, I think he solved the next country. Oh, we'll just go straight into it then. It's Lithuania. It's Monica Linkytė. Also a huge growth from it. This has also been in my bottom 5. That small revamp did so much work for me. Getting rid of that repetitive My Heart Is Beating and replacing it with the Shuto Tuto is really gorgeous. I love this idea of this Lithuanian like healing prayer. She's got this gorgeous imagery in it. It's one of the few ballads this year which makes it really stand out. Her vocals are fantastic. I thought she sounded amazing in Barcelona. I actually really enjoy this song. It's not super wow or groundbreaking, but I like that it has a Lithuanian identity without bringing out like a hurdy-gurdy sturdy steam instrument like they sing about in Love Love Peace Peace. It's more Lithuanian just from like more subtle touches, that little Lithuanian phrase, the fact that she's wearing the gold dress. So I like that it's got that cultural identity. That's one of the things I really enjoy about Eurovision, but without going like too heavily into folk. I do like folk songs a lot, but I appreciate this more subtle cultural tone. Really lovely song. Okay, number 14. Oh, my back, bitch. Okay, let's go to number 14, and this is the country that's never won Eurovision that I think will win it next. That's Armenia. They've done really well in Junior Eurovision. They've never won it. I think they're coming for the win. Brunette singing Future Lover. This song is a bit of a grower. When I first listened to it, I thought, yeah, this is great. Listening to it more, I'm liking it, enjoying it more and more. I don't really like the middle third where she's doing the kind of rap. I just don't particularly find it enjoyable. But I really like the beginning and the ending and some of the kind of like orchestral string instrumentation that comes in at the end. Looking forward to what they bring to the stage. I think they've been pretty ambitious lately. I think they're on a bit of a hot streak with their team. So I think this is going to be something really wow. Definitely rooting for Armenia. Would love them to get that first win. I love the lyric, drink smoothies in their cafes. I think it's amazing. I did a tweet about it. I think the lyrics are very endearing. Okay, let's come to the country that is my highest ranked song that I have not downloaded. And that's because I think the performance is so amazing. I had to put it up high, and that is Spain. Ea by Blanca Paloma. This performance is just absolutely wow. She really took my breath away at Benidorm Fest and also at the Barcelona pre-party. I think this is just a piece of performance art. She's got this incredibly intelligent artistry to her and passion. She's totally and utterly committed to what she's portraying. I think it's really, really magnetic. Song-wise, I haven't downloaded it yet. I probably will eventually, but for me, this is a performance song. I want to see those visuals. In a similar way to Chanel last year, I thought I just wanted to see the performance with the song. I actually did listen to that song a lot on its own as well, especially the Eurovision revamp, which I thought was much more listenable. I also love how different this is from last year. It's showing off these two like polar aspects of Spanish culture. It's really tempting when you come third to come back the next year with something really, really, really similar. Instead, they've gone for something so different. This is so impressive, showing off Spanish culture in such a beautiful way. This flamenco lullaby with a gorgeous backstory. So many things to love about this. This could definitely make my top 10 once I download and start listening to it. Okay, let's go to one of the countries with the hottest qualification streaks in the competition. 5 qualifications in a row. That is Netherlands. Burning Daylight. Really like the song. Love this dark pop feel that Netherlands is kind of bringing maybe a little bit too much. It's quite a lot of times in a row, but I still really love it. I love the first and the second verse and chorus. The last chorus, I don't really like it as much. It kind of changes into something a bit more positive, you know, goodbye old life. I get why they kind of changed it up, because there's a resolution to the song where they're burning daylight and then they have their new life. I have to admit though, I just prefer the melody and the sound of the first 2 verses. So if it wasn't for that, this would probably be my top 10. I'm also a little bit confused about the duet aspect. I'm hoping that they conceived a staging concept and then said, okay, let's find 2 people for it, as opposed to making a duet and then going, oh crap, how are we going to stage this? I'm hoping that they already have a good idea, because there's parts where he's singing and she isn't, and then they swap. I don't know what that other person's going to do for a minute, like standing completely still. So I hope they have a staging concept that makes sense, because I really like this. I hope it goes through the final. I love these really thoughtful, dark pop ballad songs. Really, really great. Love Netherlands. Let's go to another one of my big growers. A country that you may be surprised is actually on a 3 qualification streak, and that is Switzerland.
Not playing with water gun.
Remo Ferrer. Yeah, this has been one of my massive growers. When I listened to it, I liked it. Very elegant, beautiful production. But recently when I started listening to it, that piano in particular is such a gorgeous hook, and they use it quite liberally, but it doesn't get old. The song has this fantastic build up and climax. Oh, it almost fell. Yeah, this is really pretty. That piano brings me to the 1940s. It really reminds me of Anne Frank for some reason. I don't know why. It gives me a very timeless feel. I know there's lots of people who have problems with the lyrical aspect of this. First of all, the song was conceived before the invasion of Ukraine even happened. And secondly, my interpretation of the lyrics are that it is a pro-peace song, but that's more Russia, get out of Ukraine, complete withdrawal, stop invading people. I don't interpret that message as Ukraine, stop defending yourself. They're trying to protect themselves from genocide. What are they meant to do? So I don't get that this is anti-Ukraine at all. So yeah, I guess that's just different people interpret lyrics in different ways. For me, I think this has the best intentions. I think they probably could have been a little bit more careful in what they're saying though. Yeah, I love this. I think it's very classy, very pretty, and his voice is really gorgeous as well. Top 10. What better way to start my top 10 than with a country who has absolutely and utterly turned their fortunes around in the last 2 years, and that is the UK. Now, if you've been watching my channel since when I started in 2019, you would know that there's an annual tradition I had every year, and that was my UK rant and my Ireland rant about what the hell are we doing. I've had to stop my UK rant because they have just absolutely and utterly turned things around. Last year was just a complete U-turn. Second place, won the jury, 5th in the televote, points from pretty much everyone in the entirety of Europe, and one of the best representatives they've ever had. And then they've continued that this year. May Muller's brilliant. She's such a lovely girl, giving a lot of sass and attitude on social media. This is a really well produced song. I think it's really fun and boppy. We don't have that many fun dance girl boppy songs this year, so this is actually going to stand out. This is exactly what I was asking for pre-Spaceman. Great fun songs. I'm so happy with this. That's just really great. I think it's a perfect song for a host as well. Hey, this is us, we're fun, welcome to the party, we're starting the party. This is totally it. I love this. And I like it lyrically as well. I like that there's an English speaking country bringing good lyrics. That was not meant to be shade on Ireland, but Yeah, kind of accidentally was. In 9th place, there's been a lot of talks about dark horses this year, but I think the dark mare to watch out for is France. Évidemment. This is a really fantastic song, been doing really strongly on the Eurovision scoreboard. She's still sitting at 6th despite being released quite a while. She's actually catching up on Czechia. She's about to go into 5th place. She's literally 200 points away. So let's just say that she's just moved up to 5th place. This music video was amazing. Elegant, sexy, seductive, but then also with a little bit of demureness as well. I love this mix of chanson, French music with disco. It sounds like this really weird fusion I've never heard before, but it still sounds super, super French. She's brilliant. There's just so many things about this that are really clever. It still feels kind of safe as well, though. I think after Fullen last year, which was a little bit risky, this feels like a safer entry, but it still feels great. It doesn't feel like The Best of You by Tom Leb. Sassier, it's got more personality than that. I think this is really great. This can do fantastic. I'm waiting to see these rehearsals because I think this can become the dark mare to start really jumping up the odds and taking people by surprise, and possibly having a big effect in the jury and possibly the televote. Barbara Pravi did really well with the televote. Really love this from France. Okay, let's go to my number 8. We're back to another guy, another country that lost its 6th qualification streak last year. They're coming back to qualify again. That is Cyprus with Andrew Lambrou. There's nothing groundbreaking here. This is a really standard high quality pop song. There's nothing wrong with that. I love having all these like weird different entries this year, but it's also nice to have something like familiar and nostalgic and just a really solid, well written pop song. I think he's a great singer. He does a beautiful falsetto. I think falsetto can often sound a little bit weird or awkward. I think his is really, really pretty sounding. He pulls it off very well. I think that Cyprus will learn from their mistakes last year in their staging and come with something a little bit more clever and solid. Yeah, this is really, really great from Cyprus. I love that they are immediately bouncing back after non-qualifying last year. Okay, let's go to my number 7. Now, the interesting thing about my number 7 is this was my number 3rd ranked song in its national final, and it was still in my number 7. That is Norway. My number 1 country from last year. Those 2 songs, by the way, were Frey and Break It. Yeah, really great. I love this. This is doing amazing on streaming. It's one of the most streamed songs this year. I think it's been quite big in America, particularly in the gay scene. I'm going to be very interested to see how is that going to translate into the televote this year. Alessandra's great. She's got a great theatrical performance style to her. I like that the song is about her staying true to herself in regards to her bisexuality. So the song has a meaning, but I also like how it fuses pop with this kind of like Nordic Norse feel, some like slight ethnic instrumentation in there. It's really high energy, really fun. The performance is going to be electric and just get everyone jumping. It's going to be a fantastic opener to semi-final number 1. I love that Norway brings quality every single year. They're one of my favorite countries in Eurovision ever. I think they're my 4th ranked. Yeah, they are my number 4 ranked country. Yeah, that makes sense. I really think Norway are amazing. I couldn't imagine the competition without them. So yeah, really rooting for Alessandra. Let's go to another country that was in my top 10 last year and is in it again this year, this time at number 6, and that is Vesna. So very similar to Portugal, I feel like Czech brings something super original and unique and authentic every single year. I never know what they're going to bring. I really love that about them. Since they came back in 2015, I am totally obsessed with Czechia. I would hate if they lost. There was some talk they were going to withdraw this year. Luckily, they managed to last minute confirm they're coming, and they've got a great song. Not only do I want this to succeed because I love Czechia, but also I do not want them to withdraw, and I feel like the better result this gets, the less likely that will happen. This is a great song, slightly dark electronic pop song with lots of cultural references in it. The music video is just absolutely stunning. Again, I know that some Ukrainians were a little bit upset about this because this concept of sisterhood is something that Putin uses to justify his war. So I get why that's not a metaphor that has positive connotations. I think it's done with the best possible intentions. I think this is very, very, very overtly pro-Ukraine. I think the imagery in the music video really backs that up. I love seeing the solidarity with Ukraine from nearby countries. I think that's really heartwarming. Czechia have qualified for the last 6 times. They've never been top 5. Miklas Yusuf was 6. I think this has the potential to go top 5 if they can bring those music video visuals God, that's difficult to say, bloody hell. I really would love this to do well. On the flip side, if they really fluff the staging, this could be a shot non-qualifier, and that would absolutely destroy me. Okay, let's go to my number one Eurovision country of all time. No surprise that they're back in the top 10 again. That is, ooh, I've got it upside down. That is Ukraine. Ukraine at the bottom, Sky at the top. Yeah, Ukraine are just wow. I love the amount of dedication and quality they bring to the competition every single year. This is something different. They've been a bit more folky recently. This shows off another aspect of their music scene, this dark electronic pop feel. You see, I do like my dark electronic pop. I love they're showing off a contemporary modern aspect of their country, the diversity of it as well. I just love listening to the song. It's really easy listening. I love Jeffrey's soft power in his vocals. He's not shouty, he's just got this calm power to him. I love the meaning of the song. A lot of the songs in Vibir had this kind of more like pity feel to them, whereas this is like we're still fighting. It had more of a like spark and anger to it, which I really love as well. And Ukraine are number one for staging. They're the best stagers in Eurovision, so this is only going to elevate even more. I'm really looking forward to the fashion. I love Tvorchi's personal style. This is going to be a really, really exciting performance. I'm looking forward to seeing it in the final. And this previously was my number one until around mid-February. So my fourth place is a country that hasn't qualified in 5 years, but they've won Junior Eurovision the most. They've won it 3 times. That's Georgia. Iru's singing Echo, and funnily enough, she was one of those Junior Eurovision winners. She won it with Candy Music. Finally got the name right. Candy Music way back in 2011 or so. I absolutely adore this. So happy as well that we had so many quality entries entering semi-final number 2 towards the end of the season. She won Junior Eurovision, she won Georgian Idol. She's got an amazing voice in Barcelona as well. She was spectacular. This feels like a safer entry after Georgia's been sending more risky stuff in recent years. It still feels very Georgian though. It's got a strong ethnic dark pop element to it. I love these men, gruff backing male vocals that she has singing throughout the whole song. It reminds me a little bit of Prince's song from Pejma's Eurovision, where they're going Habibi, Habibi, that kind of like very masculine, deep bass backing vocal. I really enjoy that as well. I love the drum in it. It gives it like a little bit of a battle sound. The main part for me is that last 30 seconds. The last 30 seconds of this are absolutely utterly stunning. Marvin Dietman is going to do their staging. If he can nail that last 30 seconds, this can definitely be a little bit of a dark horse to make some damage in jury or televote, because she can nail that vocal in the last 30 seconds. Love that George is sending something so strong. Very happy to have him back in my top 10. Let's go to a country that's on a 3 non-qualification streak, but that qualification streak is gone because because Taya and Selena are coming to qualify from semi-final number 2. I freaking love this song. In hindsight, I feel kind of sad that this was leaked because I fantasized about what my reaction would have been if I'd known nothing about it before. This is so wild and unique and special and just, oh, it's so risky. And I love that Austria, after not qualifying last year with a risky song, doubled down and went for something even more risky this year. This is a really, really well composed song. It's very enjoyable to listen to, even if it didn't have weird wackiness of it. The song alone is amazing, but then adding in that extra depth from the song meaning about this commentary on streaming and on kind of undiscovered artists. Yeah, this is just absolutely fantastic. Last year there were problems with vocals. I don't think we're going to have this year. Taya and Selena are both great singers, really lovely girls. My reaction video actually made them cry.
Eurovision time, you made us cry!
Which I was a little bit surprised about initially, because I think this song is brilliant, but it really shows that because their song was leaked out of context and a lot of people had a negative response to it, they were properly anxious about how this was going to be received. So that's really sad that they had all that unnecessary stress, because this is a brilliant, brilliant, unique, clever, special entry. So it's sad they went through this. Really, really love it. I have to point out at this point, this and my second and my first place, I haven't decided who my number 1 is going to be. It is pretty much definitely going to be Austria or my 2 or my number 1. I think there's a 99% chance it'll be one of those 3. But yeah, I feel like this year's really, really wide open. These girls are definitely in contention to be my number 1 this year. Okay, so only 2 countries left. You probably have worked out who the two of them are, so I won't do a big intro. My number 2 currently could be my number 1. He previously was my number 1. It is Garia. absolutely love this. I can't say enough positive things about this. I think it's so deserved that UMK, which is the best national final this year, has given a song that can potentially win Eurovision. At this point in time, if you ask me who's winning, I think Gary is going to win Eurovision. That is my personal opinion. I think the song's really special, so cleverly constructed as well. I think that switch up halfway through is really important for people like me. I think if the song had been that kind of heavy rock rap for the whole way through, it would have just lost steam. That switch up halfway through is so clever into kind of like a little bit more of a poppy sound. Stage show's absolutely amazing. There's just so many things about this that I've got that real X factor that I think you need to win Eurovision. I just love that I'm hearing something I never would have dreamt of hearing. If you told me that this is the song that'll be my number 2 last year, I would have told you absolutely crazy. I love the shock of how much I love this and what an impact it's had and how much joy this has brought me for this year. Really rooting for him. I hope that he can win in Liverpool. So no surprise then, you may have worked out who my number 1 is, and that is Serbia with Luke Black. Now this just really hits a chord with me personally. I grew up absolutely worshipping computer games. I remember every Christmas my main present would be a computer game. This for me is like the ultimate computer game song. There's so many cultural elements that I recognize. I know a lot of people talk about this being similar to Nine Inch Nails, but I don't know any of their music. So for me, this sounds very fresh and new and original. I just love how wild and crazy, and feels like it's a song that comes from another dimension. There's so many unique aspects to it. I loved my first reaction to this, how surprised it was and how it caught me off guard, and it was just this like wow moment. These are the moments that I dream of, the reasons that I love Eurovision. Watching the national final this year was one of the most stressful things I've ever felt in my life, just getting those points and then just realizing that he was actually going to win. Oh my god, so happy he's going to Eurovision and we get to see his stage show. I just love this. It's different, it's unique, it's special. I love walking down the street singing this. I feel so powerful. I feel like I'm in another dimension playing a computer game. It reminds me of Mario 64, Zelda. So many of these influences and things that I heard when I was growing up as a teenager. So very nostalgic. Don't know if it's going to end up as my number 1. It's definitely in my top 3. Like I said, it's between Austria, Finland, and this for my top 3. 3 totally different songs. I love how different my top 3 this year is. If you've been following me on Twitter, you know that these are my 3 favorite songs because I haven't been very subtle about it. Yeah, absolutely love this. Hoping that Luke can get through the difficult first semi-final. So that is my current top 37. It is definitely going to change. Like I said, last year, my 34th, 19th and 17th places all made it into my top 10, which at this point in time is Azerbaijan, Germany and Sweden. Weirder things have happened. Performances definitely bring songs alive for me, and like I said, there are several songs which I save for later on in the season, and that's one of the things I love, is these songs that I used to not like being reinvented in my brain and becoming something I end up loving. I love that transformation that can happen every year. I think this is a really great year. I think there's so many different types of entries. I'm really excited to see what happens in Liverpool. Okay, let me know what you think about my top 37. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you've made it this far. Remember, this video last year was my most thumb down, so please give me a little bit of support, and thanks so much for watching. See another Eurovision reaction video very soon. Goodbye. Way back in 2011, 2012, 2013.